Sit down. What are you on?
There, that's better. This is to advise that notice of the time, date, location, and to the extent known agenda of the subject meeting was prominently posted in the public place reserved for such or similar announcements on February 25th, 2025, mailed to the Princeton Packet, Trenton Times, and West Windsor Plainsboro News on February 25th, 2025, and filed with the Township Clerk on February 25th, 2025. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Church,
Here.
Mr. Marks,
Here.
Mr. Van Dyke, Mr. Rhoda, Mr. Jacobson,
Here.
Vice Chairman Hoberman,
Here.
Chairwoman Abby,
Here.
Mr. Friedkin,
Here.
Yes. We have two people missing, but we have a quorum. Minutes of February 6th, 2025. Does anybody have any comments, corrections? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve?
I move to approve the minutes of February 6th.
Moved by John Rader,
Second.
second by Mr. Church. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any nays? Motion passes. Thank you. Who abstained? Okay, so note the abstention by Henry. Chair's comments and correspondence. I have none. Sam, you have anything? No. Public comment. This would be for anything that is not on the agenda for tonight. If anybody has anything they wanted to come up to the podium about, please do so. Again, this would be for something that is not on the agenda about the application for this evening. Seeing no one, close public comment. Application ZB 2407, Stephen Jenks, 1736 Old Trenton Road. If you could come forward, please.
And while Mr. Jenks is doing that, for the record, we've reviewed the notice of this application. It's an order and the board can take jurisdiction.
Okay. Can everybody hear me?
If you could, excuse me, be sworn in by our attorney, please.
Oh, sure.
Yes, if you could please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
If you could state your full name for the record and spell your last name, please.
Sure. Stephen Jenks, Jenks. Good evening, Chairperson Abby, members of the board, and township professionals. My name is Stephen Jenks, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you regarding my application for a variance to construct a pavilion and patio on my property at 1736 Old Trenton Road, West Windsor, New Jersey. My family and I have lived in West Windsor for the last 9 years, and we have a deep appreciation for the character and quality of life that this township provides. We're committed to maintaining and improving our home in a way that aligns with the goals of the community while also meeting the needs of our family. The variance we are requesting pertains to the setback requirement at as our proposed pavilion would be located approximately 12 feet from the property line rather than the required distance. We believe that this request is both reasonable and justified for several reasons. The physical constraints of our land. Our home is situated on a narrow trapezoid-shaped lot, which significantly limits the buildable area behind our home. I refer you to the pictures that we took in our application. And due to this irregular shape, constructing a pavilion and patio in compliance with the standard setback requirements is impractical. Additionally, the existing home is already positioned 14 feet from the neighbor's property line and and a placement that is grandfathered into the zoning ordinance. Given these constraints, the property location, the proposed location is the most feasible and functional option for our project. And then also beyond the shape, our lot shape, our property contains a septic tank and a field located in the back of our home. This further restricts our ability to place the pavilion and patio elsewhere. Any relocation of the structure to comply with standard step backs would either interfere with the septic system or severely limit the usable outdoor space. As a result, we are constrained to the proposed placement. Without the variance, we would face significant practical difficulties in making our backyard a safe and usable space. From a safety perspective, our current patio includes a makeshift step that presents a safety risk for anyone entering or exiting the home, including our children. And without the ability to construct a properly designed pavilion and patio, we would lack a safe, functional outdoor area where a family can gather and enjoy our property. The variance would allow us to make necessary improvements while respecting the overall character of our neighborhood. And finally, we have engaged with our neighbors to discuss our plans, and they have expressed no objections. Again, thank you for your time, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak.
Thank you. So just for the record, this would be 12 feet from the property line,
Yes.
and the approximate distance from the property line to your neighbor's house. I think we asked you to get that information. If you could just state that for the record again.
Yeah, it's between 80 and 85 feet.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
Questions? If you could stay up here
Yeah. Okay.
in case anybody has questions for you.
Sure.
Are you going to keep the patio?
We're going to replace it in kind. So it's brick right now, and then we're just going to replace it with some mason stones. So it's going to be the same footprint.
So you'll still have a patio,
Yes,
but you're going to have.
a pavilion
I
as
looked
well.
at your map, you right now have a curved walk from the patio to the rear of your house.
We do.
You want to put a pavilion there, which would be actually getting close to the patio.
Yes,
So it would be a more convenient way to get to the patio.
correct.
So the variance is just for the setback of the pavilion?
For the pavilion, that's correct.
What is the side yard setback in the zone?
20 feet.
The, okay, so the house is already, 14 feet at that corner.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's already into the side yard setback, but by the nature of this circumstance.
Right. It's only really going from 14 feet to 12 feet
Right, at the corner of the patio.
at the corner,
And it's only one corner. Right.
at
Yeah,
the closest
it-
corner, yeah.
Yeah, just the nature of again, we're on the other side of the trapezoid, right? On the base of the trapezoid. So anything that if we build anything back from where our sliding glass door is right now, anything would require a setback.
Okay.
So-
And the consideration is also because there is a septic system in the backyard as well.
Yeah, we
including
actually had
a
our
pipe and the septic system and all of that.
yes, we actually had our septic system, our tank moved closer to the field to prepare for this as well too. So
And by observation, the house at the other end, at the other side is also over the setback line at 16 feet, right? 15.15 feet. That would be also a 20-yard setback to walk the other side of the property. Am I right? Tim?
I can't speak to
property?
that. What?
Yeah.
The 15
Yeah, I
point
mean,
15.
that's where this side's already, the patio's over here, this side of the property, right?
Oh,
That's-
okay.
That's already over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's already over the setback line at the other end, so it's a very
Yeah.
constrained site.
Well,
Like I said,
so
it's- yeah.
even though the house is angled, it still is centered on the property.
Well, I wouldn't say centered.
Basically.
It's as centered as it can be, I guess.
Can you tell us when the your house was constructed, actually?
1985.
1985. Okay, that was before the current zones were established in the setbacks, right? So it goes back before we had that rule.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I see from your map, you're 500 feet north of Edinburgh Road.
Yes.
And I'm just finding it curious that the sides of your lot are not parallel to Edinburgh Road. I'm just finding it strange that they laid out the lots that way.
Yeah, because the other lot
Oh,
is next to it also.
My neighbor is actually here. That could probably
Yeah.
give you history of our property. It has been subdivided twice. I believe it used to be an old farm, then it was subdivided back in the 70s, I want to say, and then subdivided again for our home in 1985. So,
Well, but luckily they made the houses parallel to the road, so that happens.
it is
Otherwise, the
it is
house-
parallel to Old Trent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is parallel to Old
They
Trent.
did that anyway.
Yeah.
Seems surprised that they would lay the lot out there.
I
It's not your fault.
I was
It could have been subdivided years ago when it was all farm and who knows
I
what.
was crawling at the point, so I don't know.
That's not the strangest thing I've seen during my site inspections.
Gotcha.
I've seen
Understood.
some doozies.
This is 500 feet. You got building and some other things properties at the corner.
Other questions from the board? Okay. Does one of the members want to go over this? Maybe John?
Yeah, I can do that if you like. Yeah,
Just briefly.
okay, yeah. Was the site inspector. Our other two members of the committee could not attend that day. So I went out there twice with Mr. Jenks and we located the markers and made the best guesses we could as to where the property line was, but it's very difficult because that easternmost one is 263 feet long and you
Right.
can't really, I'm not a surveyor.
Neither
We
am
did
I.
the best we could, but anyway, the upshot was that the actual survey that we have seems to be accurate enough, at least for the purposes of this application. So I'm convinced that the actual setback requested is 12 feet plus or minus maybe a couple of inches, whatever. We couldn't determine it exactly, but so it is 12 feet that you're asking for.
Yes.
So I'm convinced that's the true number that you need. So.
Thank you, John.
Yeah.
Other questions, comments? I don't see any problem with this. It seems to make sense to me. I'm sensing everybody else feels the same way. Does anybody have any other comments before we want to,
Did somebody else want?
yeah,
to
well,
talk?
we have to do the public comment if there's anybody, yeah,
Is it public comment from a
just
neighbor?
before that.
Yes.
If anybody would like to come up from the public to comment on this application, please do so now.
You could raise your right hand so I can swear you in. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes,
You can state your full name for the record, please.
Robert Johnson, Johnson, reside at 1738 Old Trenton Road. Been a resident there since 1992. So we don't have any objections with this structure at all. There's.
Are you right next door?
Yes, I am
Okay.
right next door, but we're actually to the further side of the property.
Mhm.
So we have quite a bit of space in between our property and their
Right.
property, so there's no objections at all. And yes, the lines are very obtruse in that area. I thought the same thing when I moved in,
Yeah.
so yes.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for
questions?
this?
Thank you.
Anything else? Anyone else want to give a comment? Hearing none, does someone have a motion to close the public comment?
Close the public comment.
Move. Who second?
Aye.
Seconded by Henry. All in favor, say aye to close the public comment. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. I don't hear any objections to anything. It seems to make sense. I have a list of things after we get the motion.
You want a motion to approve?
Yeah, I'm always
I move
unclear
we
about whether
approve
to put out all my criteria
24-.
before we vote or after.
Second,
Before? The reasons for why we would vote the way we vote.
Oh, when it comes to your turn, you can do that.
Daniel.
I'll do it after we all vote.
Daniel.
It's usually when I do it.
Curtis, I think.
Yeah, Chris.
I always put exactly in the
Yeah,
record.
but you normally do it after the vote.
We used to do it before and then somebody said, no, you have to do it after.
And then the
That's what I thought. Okay,
The motion is made and seconded, Madam Chairman.
okay. But before that, I do want to,
What?
I was just asking about whether I should go through my list of things before or after. And she recommends before the vote. I think the applicant was asked to show that there was a practical difficulty or an undue hardship. I think he did so. Certainly there is a practical difficulty because of the trapezoidal shape of the property. And the fact that the house is centered on the property, same amount of space on either side. Building this pavilion would only bring it to 2 more feet closer than it currently is, which is really de minimis, not really that big of a thing. We find that the relief can be granted without substantial detriment to the public good, including any adverse impact on any of the neighboring properties. And it will not impair the intent and purpose of the R1C zone plan, where the applicant's property is located. We also note that there is, of course, the location of the septic system on the property is a factor in where things can be located on this property. And this is a pre-existing non-conforming structure already. Also, we could note that, it's just a pavilion. It doesn't even have siding on it. So there is a view. It's not like they're building a wall that's 12 feet from the property line. It is all open to that. So those are my reasons for why I would vote to approve. So John, we have a motion to approve.
We did.
Seconded by
Seconded by Curtis.
Daniel,
Seconded by Daniel. Call the roll, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you. You're good to go. Thank you.
Okay, good luck with it.
Good luck. We have no closed session or nothing else unless somebody has something they need to bring to
Yes.
discussion.
Sam, do we have anything for April? Okay.
I will not get this.
Okay.
I will be in St. Louis. I will be in St. Louis in April.
Meet me in St. Louis.
I told you last.
Anything else? Motion to adjourn.
So move.
So moved, seconded, all in favor, aye, aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
I'm sorry, who did it first? I missed that. It was a little bit too fast.
What was that?
Who was the first to vote on the motion?
John made the motion to
Mr. Turk?
adjourn.
And who was the second?
Who was the second?
To adjourn, to adjourn.
To adjourn?
Oh, to adjourn.
Just take some.
John Church.